Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Canada. And welcome to my This or That Thursday. Every week I try to post 2 cards in my Facebook group, and I ask my crafting community to choose one of the cards to make live on Thursday mornings at 9. And this is the card we're making today. Sorry for the delay this morning, folks, and sorry I'm running a little bit late, even though I already posted I was going to be on at 10:30. I had some technical difficulties. I don't know, I started the live broadcast and then it just stopped, and then I don't know what happened. So anyways, I had to restart, and now we're here. So this is a fun fold. Really cute. It's gonna be my daughter's birthday card this year because I've personalized it with the age that she is turning, and I'm going to show you how to make this fun fold, and you can just customize it to whatever occasion that you have coming up. It's pretty easy to make. There's a lot of layers. It showcases DSP really well, so it's really not hard. You don't need to have a cut and emboss machine for this. You can just use the die cuts from the Wildflower Birthday DSP, which is what I'm using today, and go from there. All right, so I'm just going to get my computer set up so I can see your comments while we are crafting. If you're joining me live or on replay, I would love it if you comment, if you ask me questions, join in the conversation, because it's no fun crafting by myself. It's no fun talking to myself, so please say hi. Okay, let's see, I've got my video. All right, my computer is set up, and I'm just going to switch my my phone over to my desktop. So just close your eyes while I mount my phone, and it's going to be a little bit wobbly for a second. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so really not a lot of stamp sets involved. You could use whatever stamp set you want, and just use your stash to create this card. I'll show you all the pieces that I use, but most of this comes from the Wildflower DSP. I did cut the letters out using, sorry, the numbers out with the Playful Alphabet dies, which I retired. And this sentiment comes from Time for Cake, the Paper Pumpkin Time for Cake stamp set. And like I said, it's whatever you have on hand in your stash that you can make this card. But the main part of this card is the Pop Out Z fold. That's what it's called. And I should say that I cased this from Tami White. So she is an awesome demonstrator. She has so many beautiful cards, and I have cased the card. This is her fun fold. I don't know if she created it, but this is the fun fold I cased from her. Hi Sandra, glad you made it. And then I just customized it to what I wanted it to look like. So you're going to learn how to make this card today, the fun fold part, and then you'll be able to customize it to whatever you like. Okay, so I have actually cut out a lot of the pieces already because there's a lot of layers in this card. And I have saved some of the pieces that I thought I would show you how to make. So I'll show you how to do the card base first. Let me get some things out of the way and we'll make some room. And I'm just going to bring my light a little bit closer. Okay, so the card base is pretty easy. So I'm going to bring over my paper trimmer so I can score it and show you how to do that. Okay, so this is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half. I already had a piece left over from a previous project, so I just cut it in half. It's now 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to go ahead and score it at 2 1/8 inch. And if you're following along for the first time, don't worry about writing all these down because I always put the measurements in my video description after I'm done. And you can get all the information about the colors and the measurements and the products that I used in the video description. So the second scoring is at 4¼ inches. And that's all you need to do. So there's 2 score marks here. And I'm just thinking, is there any other scoring I need to do? Oh yes, I do have the pop-out mechanism. Okay, so if you take a look at this, there's a little, you kind of create like a square, okay? This little square piece inside is what makes your inside diamond pop out, okay? I just need a 1 inch by 5 inch strip, which I have. Let me just find it. And I'm going to score it at 1, 2, 3, and 4 inches, so every inch. One, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so those are the only things that need scoring. I don't think I need to do any more cutting at this moment, so I'm going to put this away and we'll set up the card base. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and I'm going to fold this in half. Okay. Okay, so here's my other score line on the front. I'm just going to fold this backwards. Now these can be, these cards can be made with different shapes. You don't have to use the diamond. I personally find the diamond really pleasing to the eye. I like the layering and how it looks, but you could use circles, you could use a rectangle instead of the 2 diamonds and put a rectangle inside. So you can play with that and do what makes you happy and what makes you think it looks beautiful. Okay, so there's the card base. This I am going to just burnish the folds, all of them, because you're going to want this to be folding flat when you put it inside the card, right? So you want these to be well folded. Okay. And all you're going to do is wrap this around and we're going to glue these ends together, okay? Super easy. Okay, so I'm just going to use some glue. Oops, not that one. That one's empty, nearly empty. And I recommend you use, you know, the glue or something strong because you want this to hold. It's going to be pulled on a little bit, not too much, but you want it to be secure. Okay, so I just line that up and I'm just pressing it on. Okay, now I'm just going to flatten it. Okay, so I just want to make sure that when I bend it down that this lies flat. Okay, the first time I did this, I had kind of a little bit of a lump in the middle, and so I just burnished the edges flat so that it would lie flat, so that when it's inside the card, it doesn't push it open. Okay, so that's our mechanism. I'm going to put that aside. We don't need it just yet. Okay, so let's assemble the inside. So if you notice, I'm sure you already noticed, I am using different colors. Okay, so Tami White had created 3 versions of this card. And like I said, I cased this, I changed it for my purposes. So this is different. The decoration is slightly different from what she did. And then I wanted to make a different card this time. So I am casing another one of hers, and it is similar, but slightly different. That is the whole point of casing. You take it, you copy the basic layout, and you make it yours. Okay, so this one I'm going to use the pink gingham, and she had used a gold foil matte. Okay, that's what you see around the edges here. Hey Tara, glad you could join in. I guess your meeting's over. Okay, so this is gold foil, and for this time I decided I would use the Wild Wheat, which is retired, and I'm sad that I didn't get another pack of this paper before it sold out, but I substitute it for gold in some places because it looks just as good. And if you want to save paper, because paper is getting expensive, because I know this whole piece hides, the gingham piece hides most of the inside of this gold, wild wheat, that is, I'm going to cut out the center so I can use it for something else, okay? So I'm just going to take my paper trimmer. I'm going to show you how I cut that out. It's a great way to save some extra paper that you know, and it'll actually make the card lighter too, right? So it's a good thing all around. You don't have to do this, it's totally up to you, but I just want to save some paper. So you don't have to measure this, you just know that you need about what is it, an 1/8 of an inch all around, right? So you can't go any closer. So I'm just kind of putting this at the 1/2 inch mark, okay? And let me just double check. Oh, hello Terry, that you're a new watcher. Thanks for joining in. So I'm just going to measure about 1/2 inch down and 1/2 inch in, just to save a little bit of paper. And I'm just going to use my trimmer to cut out the center of this card. Oh, Tara, you're asking if it looks bumpy? It does not look bumpy. I just glued around the edges that actually adhered to the gold or the wild wheat, and I didn't adhere the center. Okay, the center has no glue behind it, but most of it is covered by this balloon, right? So, depending on what you're using it for, I don't think it'll look bumpy at all if you just make sure not to glue down the center or press on the edges where you know that there's like a lip here, right? I can feel it, but you can't see it. Okay, so again, I'm just going to, can't stick my head over the paper, but I'm just trying to line up the cutting here so that I can just cut out the centers. There we go. So it doesn't have to look pretty because it's all going to get covered up. So I'm going to use a pair of scissors. Oh my goodness, can't get it in there. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I've saved a whole section of this wild wheat for later. And we are going to cover it up with the gingham, right? Right like that. So I'm just going to put glue around the edges. And that way we're just going to glue the edges of our paper to the little frame we've kind of created. Okay. I tend to be sparing on the glue. It doesn't need to be a lot. And as usual, I always tilt it on a 45-degree angle and line up my edges and my corners to make sure it looks approximately like it's the right width before I lay it down. There we go. See, and nobody will ever know. Okay? All right, so this layer is going to go on the inside back of your card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue. So it really is just a lot of layering. You don't need the cut and emboss machine, like I said. I did use the stylish shapes to cut out some of the diamond shapes, the square ones. But you can just cut squares and that's totally fine too. It will look just as nice. again. I'm just going to lay this down after I have adjusted the spacing all around. Okay, and the glue gives me a few extra seconds to line things up after it's laid down on the paper. There we go. All right, so let's assemble the other pieces. I've got 2 more pieces of wild wheat and gingham. And like I said, all the measurements will be in my video description afterwards. So it's easy for you to find. Okay, that's one. And there's my second one. And the layering really makes it feel like a substantial card without being too heavy. It feels really good in your hand. Something else I realized after I made the card was that you need to have a piece of white or something that you want to write your greeting or your sentiments or your sign your name. You'll need that for the back because there's no room inside. It looks really pretty standing on somebody's mantle, and you're just going to need to put your greeting on the back of the card. So I'm just going to add, after the fact, a sheet of white, and I will write the birthday greeting and good wishes on the back of the card instead. Okay, so I'm just centering it on each of the panels, making sure they're straight. All right, so there's a bulk of the card right there. Okay, so now that we have these set up, I can put this piece in. Okay, so basically I'm going to put adhesive on 2 sides. We're going to face these 2 sides towards the middle. Okay, going to lie this flat, and we're going to close it. And then oh, you know what, so this is reality crafting. If you've never joined me before, I always call it reality crafting because something always goes wrong, or I will say something wrong, and I've kind of come to terms with the fact that it's never going to be perfect, which is something I struggle with. I'm kind of obsessive about making my cards perfectly, and it was really hard for me to do lives because I was always worried about making mistakes. So anyways, the mistake I told you was that I was going to put adhesive here and then stick it on here and glue it on, but that's not it. You want the adhesive on the 2 sides that are stuck to these 2 sheets, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just demonstrate it. Okay, I'm going to actually use, instead of Stampin' Seal, which I find is great adhesive, but I don't find it quite strong enough for pieces that move. So I'm going to use my Tear and Tape. Tear and Tape does really well for these kinds of projects. And I'm just going to put this on the 2 sides. And don't worry if some overhangs. I just kind of flip it back and stick it back to itself. Oh, I gotta find the end again. Thank you, Tara. Thank you for your support. It's it's kind of a hindrance sometimes trying to make it look perfect, because then I get stuck sometimes trying to perfect it, right? Which is not good. And I have to tell myself to just get going. Okay, so I just kind of rub it down to make sure that the adhesive is firmly stuck to the paper, because that makes it easier to lift up your backing. So if you have trouble lifting off the backing, try pressing down on the adhesive again. Use your fingernail to kind of scratch at it or press on it, and that'll make it stick to the paper more firmly, and then you can lift the backing off better. Okay, so I'm just kind of folding back excess of adhesive back onto the paper so that it doesn't come out on the sides, because you don't want it sticking to other parts of the card. Okay, so here's the two sticky sides. Okay, I want this in the middle of my card. So this is one of my obsessive things. I know that if you watch Tami do it, she will just guesstimate where it is. I am a little bit obsessive about it. And I'm just going to use a ruler to guide me to approximately where it is. So this is 5.5 inches long, so about 2 2.75. Is that right? No. 2.5. Yeah, 2.75. So is halfway, right? So I'm going to take my sticky side and stick this down. I'm going to put it up to the fold line. Okay, don't put this over the fold line, because you're going to find it difficult to close the card then. Okay, so now, oh, all right, so you remember I told you I had done it the first time and it was bumpy. This is exactly what I found. And I guess I just pushed a different side down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my bone folder and push that down and flatten it. Yeah, you could use the grid lines too, for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to flatten it like this. And now you have your pop-up mechanism. Okay, so like I said, don't go up to the, don't go over the fold line, just go up to it, but not over it. Okay. Actually, does this open all the way? Not really. Okay, I was just curious. It doesn't open all the way. It prevents it from opening all the way, but it's not meant to. Okay. All right, so that's your mechanism all done. All right, so like I said, most of this comes from the Wildflower DSP, but Tami had used a different DSP here. Okay, this little centerpiece behind here, the pool party blue behind here, that was she had used the Subtles DSP. Okay, so they had a vertically striped pattern in that. I didn't have that same DSP, and I did not have something that worked, and I was scratching my head as to what I could use, and I actually found that there is the Hues of Happiness, if you remember that retired DSP. I'm just going to show you. So this is the Hues of Happiness. There is on the back of the main designs, they have like brush stroked abstract patterns, and I found that there's one section in Pool Party, so that's what I used. I cut it from here. So you can just, you know, look through what you have. I know all of you have lots of DSP saved. That's a nice word for hoarded. And you will probably be able to find something that you like, okay? When I went to go create this card, so I was cutting and prepping all these pieces this morning, I actually found that I don't have anything in Pretty in Pink, because that was a newer color. There's nothing in my stash that that is in that color. So I'm going to create my own kind of impressionist kind of background. So I'll show you how I did that, okay? So I think I'll do that first, okay? Because I think you're going to have fun with this if you want to try it. It is watercolor. Okay, and I've already gone ahead and I've already brushed on a whole bunch of layers. So what I do is I use a water painter. Now, if you've never used a water painter, it is the easiest, cleanest way to paint. It is so, so easy. I don't love making a lot of mess. I don't love having to clean up all the mess. So this, if I say it's easy, it is easy. You just need a water painter and a paper towel to absorb excess water and to wipe your brush off, because a water painter is basically a paintbrush with a water reservoir in here. You can see it like the water in here. It's a clear brush tip, and when you use it with water based inks, you can just wipe it off onto the paper towel to clean it. It's super, super easy, okay? Now you can use an ink pad, and all you need to do is just press the sides down into the lid. And I'll show you. See, it just kind of puts ink color into the lid. Or if you have the re-inking solution, you can just put a dollop of that here, okay? And you're just basically going to take your painter and you're going to dip in here and you're going to color in your area, okay? And it's okay to get brush marks because that's going to give you interest in your die cuts, okay? It's going to give interest and depth, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's really, really easy. So I just brush back and forth. I can just add a little bit of extra color here. I've already done several layers to make it a deeper pink, okay? So what I did was I did exactly this. I would dry it off using a heat tool, or you can just let it sit and dry. It just takes longer. And then I add more layers to give depth and shading, right? So when I'm done with my painter, I just squeeze it a little bit to get a little bit of water out, and I just wipe it away on my paper towel, and it is clean. Okay, so I'm just going to dry this, and then I'm going to show you how to add spattering to this, okay, to give more interest. Okay, so I have an old heat tool. Okay, so that's dry. You're going to take that same water painter, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze a little bit of excess water into the tip, not a lot, and I'm going to use this lid to flick drops of water into my painted areas. And that's going to make kind of like spatter marks on here, and it's going to add depth, okay? It's totally up to you if you want to do this. It's fun to do, and changes the way it looks. Okay, so you're not really going to see the watermarks here until they dry. And what I'm going to do to speed that up is I'm actually going to take my paper towel and just blot it. Okay, so I'm just trying to get slightly larger droplets on here to give bigger splatter marks. Okay, it's really hard for you to see. Oh, Tara, I don't know about colored splatter. I've never combined color. Okay, so you can see little dots appearing, and I just find it looks better if you don't let it spread too much. See how much that changes it? Right? Now you can see it really clearly, right? So I'm just going to dry that off because you want the paper to be dry when you're die cutting, okay? I'm not sure how you would add color unless you dip it into your ink. I haven't tried that. Maybe you can give that a shot and let me know how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to use the Stylish Shapes dies to cut this. Just a second. Okay, so I am using, let me just double check, the second smallest. Okay. And I'm going to die cut 3 of these for the 3 diamonds that we're going to be creating on the card. Okay, let me bring over my cut and emboss machine. And you know what? I'm going to trim off this section because otherwise I can't get this sheet through. Well, I can get it in. Nope, I can't get it in. I'm going to need to make it smaller so I can get it through my cut and emboss machine. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to run this through. So this is watercolor paper, just so you know. It is not just regular cardstock. It is watercolor paper. Otherwise, the ink won't get absorbed the same way as it would on here. And yes, Sandra, great idea to use Winkle Stella if you want to add shimmer to your cardstock. Sorry, to the pattern. So there's one. Doesn't that look pretty? And you could leave this without the spattering. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's a more uniform look, just like these ones. These ones, if you see it, if you were to see this section of DSP without the images on top, you would see it's just brush strokes. There's no spattering whatsoever. It's more uniform. And there we go. We have 3 of our very own unique backgrounds. Okay. So we're back to assembly now. And Tami had shown her, she had assembled hers so that she had used dimensionals behind I think it was the second layer of cardstock here. Okay, so there's 2 layers of solid cardstock. You don't have to use this layer. Okay, it's totally optional. I chose not to put dimensionals on there because I knew I was going to raise this happy birthday, and I have these numbers here that are slightly raised, not very much. Only because it is another double layer, so it is up to you. You can do what you like. Okay, so these, let's just show you how the layering goes. Okay, so it's going to be like this, like that. Okay, so like I said, the bottom, sorry, this layer is optional because it's really it's just really an added extra layer for if you're going to pop it up onto dimensionals, but it does look pretty. You can tell those subtle differences with the extra layering, but it is optional. You don't have to use them. Okay, so let's assemble. Going to use glue. Actually, you know what? Since I am not using this happy birthday, you know what? I will use this happy birthday. Okay, I'll show you how I did that. Let's use glue. Then I'll have to find some more die cuts because I used up a bunch of them from my stash. I don't know what flowers I have left. Okay. There's one. I have no idea how this final card is going to look because I hadn't actually made a sample of this particular, using this particular DSP and the watercolored pieces, so it's going to be a surprise for all of us. Okay, there's one. I think this would be fun to use for all sorts of DSP. Like I said, it occurred to me this morning that this is a really good way to showcase DSP. And it looks so fancy. And it's not hard. It's really, I mean, you look at all these pieces that I'm assembling, it's really just cutting out a whole bunch of layers and then putting them together and then decorating a bit. And I really recommend glue because it makes it easy to adjust your positioning. Okay. One more to go. Okay, tell me, who out there likes wild wheat and who does not like wild wheat? Because I always, when I saw it, I always considered it to be a great substitute for gold, but there are people who have said this looks like I don't want to say it because then you're not gonna be able to erase it from your mind. They don't like it, needless to say. They don't like this color for whatever it reminds them of, but I do think it's a great substitute for gold. So tell me, who votes for wild wheat? Who's sad that it's gone? Yes, Tara. I knew Tara would vote for wild wheat. There we go. All right, they are now done. Oh, Sandra, you didn't get it? All right, so now I'm going to take two of these and I'm just lining up the points because it will fit just top to bottom. There's like a very, very minuscule gap that you could leave between them and they will line up perfectly. Okay, so make sure when you put on your glue that you're only putting it on half of your half of the diamond. Yeah, it's more of an accent, I think. I don't know if I've used it. I might have used it as a card base, but can't remember now. Okay. And just lining up the tips with the edges here. I'll do the same thing on this one. All right. And then this last one, you're just going to put in the middle here, right? And it's going to peek out. So I don't really have an easy way to figure out where to apply the glue. I'm just going to put it in the very corner here, because you're not working with a lot of room and you don't want it to go off of the pop-up mechanism. I'm just kind of taking a look. I think that'll be enough. So I'm going to put, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a strip right there, because I know it's covered up. Okay. And now I'm just lining it up here and pressing down. And there. So that's the majority of the card right there. From here on out, it is mostly decorating it the way you want it to look. All right, so let's get out the die cuts. Oh, Tara, you are stocked up for the wild wheat. Okay, so these die cuts are from the Wildflower DSP pack, and I found it that these there's two that are really big. There's a bouquet and there's a balloon set die cut. Sorry, and they're quite big, so you need like the full side to fit it in, and this fits in really well on this card. So I could either put the balloons or I could put the flowers. I've never tried the flowers, and I'm finding now that there's like a little section here that pokes out, and I can't get that underneath. So you may have to just trim that leaf off so that you can fit it in, because right now it's preventing me from putting it all the way along the side, right? So you would have to trim that leaf, but nobody's going to see it because it's behind the diamond. But for today, I'm going to use the balloons. Okay. And for this one, I had a leftover piece of the banner, the gold banners. This is also in the Wildflower DSP, and I just trimmed it for another card, and I found this leftover piece and it fit perfectly right here, so you could do that as well. See, I like the flowers in this one. I do like it. Yeah, it has to come off in order for me to get that in there. I'm just wondering how much I'm going to need to trim. Actually, you know what? The other suggestion I would make is if you're making this card and you want to use this, is I would glue this on first before you put that pop-up mechanism in. Sandra's suggesting if I want the flowers, possibly put the bouquet die. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying. Great minds think alike. Yes, I would glue this on first so that you can just glue the pop-up mechanism right on top of it, and then you don't have to cut it, right? Okay, so let's stick with the balloons for now. I can make another card with that. I'm not going to cut that right now. Let's just glue this in. And I like to use dots of glue in small sections. Well, where I don't want the glue leaking out. Then I'll put larger amounts here. All right, we're just going to put that in on an angle. And then you can decorate this any way you like. I know there was a die cut with a balloon that you could use too. I don't have that piece anymore. I used it for something else. So let's see what else I have here. I do have a pink one. I don't know if that'll just kind of fade into the background. Let's see. Oh, and I did use the cupcake. Let me put the cupcake in here. I thought the cupcake looked really good in the center here, so I am going to use a cupcake in the center here. Okay, so let me go ahead and glue that on. Like I said, use what's in your stash. You know, you customize it to what you want. If you got the Time for Cake Paper Pumpkin, I believe that you also got the number set that came with it as a bonus stamp set. Let me just show you. Right? I haven't used mine yet. I was going to use them. I was thinking about using it because they actually fit really well on these diamonds, but I decided against it because I wanted the happy birthday and just this layout instead, but these would work really well too. Okay, so my cupcake is in there. Let me find some flowers and some gold. Okay, I think I used a lot of my flowers. I have some leaves. I may have to dig out the DSP pack. I have, I still have some die cuts in the other DSP pack. Let's see if how this looks. I'm thinking that it might just kind of blends in with all the pink. I kind of want a something contrasting, I think. Okay, let me get the pack out and we will punch out some more die cuts. Yeah, I think that it just fades too much into the background there, eh? Okay, I'm always scared of pulling out the DSP die cuts because they are so easy to pop out that they fall out of my, like right now I have the two layers stuck together inside my DSP pack. Hang on a second. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to punch out all of these afterwards and put them in my little case because it's easier to manage because they fall out very, very, see, these are all just starting to fall out now. Oh my gosh. All right, there's 3 that's fallen out already. Let's move those aside. Okay, let's get some flowers. I'm going to take the blue one and some, I want to say this is Pale Papaya, but I know it's the other In Color. Pale Papaya works really well with this set of colors, actually. Peach Pie, that's the color that it is. Okay. Let me see what other colors I can use. Let's use this one. I'm off the screen, aren't I? Here we go. I have a Peach Pie for that, and here's another one. All right, let's see if that's enough. I don't know where my pink one went to now. Oh. Okay. So I think, yeah, that provides more contrast, I think. I'm going to use that one there again. And maybe add the blue instead of the number 13, right? So I like to play with my elements before I glue them all down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I did the happy birthday, and then we can fussy cut that and see how that looks. Okay, so that is embossed white on black. Let me just get out my embossing powder and my black sheet of paper. And just so you know, so you can see I die cut 13 out of the black paper. I did create like a little shadow around my pink 13 so that it would give it a little bit of depth, okay? But now we're going to use this piece of black to emboss my birthday greeting. So I'm remembering to brush my cardstock with the embossing buddy so that I don't get so much powder sticking to odd places. Okay, I'm just going to use a piece of paper to catch the excess. So my sentiment is from Time for Cake. It's the happy birthday from here. And let's just pick that up with my block. And it is meant to be on an angle, okay? That naturally lies on an angle there. Just going to ink that up with Versamark. Okay. Oops, what am I doing? I need my embossing powder. Okay, we're going to pour a little bit of embossing powder over top of it. Look how good that's going to look. All right, I'm going to bring my heat gun back in. I pressed too hard on that side, I think. It made it kind of thicker. So I'm going to try one more time. Okay, let's try that one more time. I'm just going to cut this off. So, just not going to press quite so hard. I like to press on top just because I always get worried that one section in the middle doesn't get pressed down enough. But you have to be careful not to press too hard either. So I'm going to be a little bit more gentle this time. Okay, I think that's going to work better. Yeah, that looks better, I think, eh? You can see the DAY better. That looks so much better. Okay. I'm just going to use my brush from this embossing set and just kind of get rid of the excess white. Okay, and now we're going to fussy cut. I'm going to just chop off that one little section and we'll fussy cut it. There's no rules about how to fussy cut something. You don't have to go into all the little spaces. You can leave some of them whole and just go along the bottom edge, but it's up to you, because it's not always easy to get into the little parts here. So I am turning the paper as I cut with my left. I use my left hand to turn the paper, and of course my right hand is doing the cutting. And those of you who are watching this on replay can fast forward through this. I just find it looks really good when for some things. Sometimes it's it looks good just having it on a rectangular background, and then sometimes it works really well when you have the script showing its shape. And trust me, this is far from perfect. Just do the best you can, and enjoy the results. This is a little bit more challenging than usual because the script itself is kind of skinny, so there's not a lot for me to hold on to. There we go, done. Okay. There. I'm just pressing the backside of this with my finger because it was all curling inwards from after cutting it, and now it kind of lies flatter this way. So I think that's going to look great. Okay, so now that I have this element, I can kind of position it as to where I want it, and that's what I'm going to do there. I think that's going to look good there, eh? Possibly some greenery. I don't know if I need greenery on this one. Yeah, I think that'll look good. So we're running a little bit long today. I'm not going to adhere that, but if you want to know how I put the dimensionals on the back of this tiny little script, I actually use a pair of scissors. I have a set of scissors that I actually have on the side separate for my fussy cutting because I use it for sticky things like this. I will cut glue dots in half. I will cut dimensionals in smaller pieces to use in situations like this. So I put dimensionals behind here that are like cut in half, and I'm talking probably even the mini ones will be cut in half. Okay, and then I layered up the flowers on the lower section as well. Most of these are flat, 2 of them are flat, and then I raised this one up on a dimensional just to give it a little bit more height and depth. So if you want to see, right? This, and I'm gonna have to find another flower. I think I had a pink one somewhere and it's disappeared, so I'll have to go look for that. Maybe it will look good on top of these guys and give more dimension that way. Interest, not dimension. So that's basically the card. I realize this is going over an hour, and you may want to just play with it yourself and figure out what you want to do. And I'm going to go look for that flower that has disappeared on me, the pink one, and see if I can find it. But that is basically the card right there. That is the card that I made here with different selections of die cuts and slightly different background here. I think it worked out well, the watercoloring, and it's a really impressive card. It's really fun to make, very easy. It's really just all the layering that you need to do and that little pop-up mechanism, and you are set to go. So yeah, Tara, I think I need something else here, but that pink flower has disappeared and I don't know where it is. It's probably stuck to the underside of something or on the floor, so I'm gonna go look for it and not make you guys wait, but you get the idea. And I hope that you will have fun with trying out the watercoloring technique and playing with this fun fold and whatever you have in your stash. Okay, have a great day everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye.